Nothing but absolute silence. Red soil covers everything, and the sky is filled with dust. An unfamiliar feeling, both excitement and anxiety. Mars? At last, we have arrived.
As the spacecraft pierced through the thin Martian atmosphere, the crew felt a mixture of exhilaration and trepidation. The moment they had trained for, dreamed of, and sacrificed for was finally upon them. Day 2 of their historic mission to Mars was not just about landing, it was about confronting the very essence of what it meant to be human in the vast, unyielding expanse of space. Commander Lisa Chen sat in the pilot seat, her fingers dancing over the controls, each beep and whir of the machinery echoing the heartbeat of the ship, and her own. She had spent years preparing for this moment, yet nothing could truly prepare her for the emotional weight of it. The view from the cockpit was breathtaking, the rust-colored surface of Mars sprawling out like an alien canvas, dotted with craters and dust storms. It was beautiful, but it was also daunting. This was a world that had never known human footsteps. A world that could either cradle them in its embrace or swallow them whole. "Touchdown in T-minus 10 seconds, the ship's AI announced, its voice calm and steady. Lisa felt her heart race. She glanced at her crew, scientist Marco, engineer Priya, and biologist Eliana. Each of them had their own inner dialogues swirling like the Martian dust outside. Marco was scribbling notes furiously, his mind racing with the scientific implications of their landing. Priya was checking systems, her brow furrowed in concentration, while Eliana stared out the window, her eyes wide with wonder and anxiety. "Ready?" Lisa asked, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions within her. The crew nodded, but she could see the flicker of fear in their eyes. They were all acutely aware that this was not just a mission, it was a leap into the unknown, a test of their psychological resilience. "Touchdown!" The ship jolted slightly as it made contact with the Martian surface. A wave of relief washed over Lisa, followed by the realization that the hardest part was yet to come. They had landed, but now they had to step outside, to confront the reality of their surroundings. The air was thin, the landscape alien, and the weight of their responsibility pressed heavily upon them. As the hatch opened, a rush of cold, sterile air flooded the cabin. The crew exchanged nervous glances, each of them grappling with their own thoughts. Lisa took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. They were about to become the first humans to set foot on Mars. But with that honor came a profound sense of vulnerability. What if something went wrong? What if they failed? The questions gnawed at her, but she pushed them aside. They had trained for this moment. They had to trust in their preparation. Eliana was the first to step out, her boots crunching against the Martian soil. As she descended the ramp, a mix of awe and fear washed over her. The desolation was breathtaking, the silence profound. She felt small, insignificant against the vastness of the landscape. But then, as she looked back at her crewmates, she saw the same sense of wonder reflected in their eyes. They were in this together, bound by a shared purpose and a collective dream. "Welcome to Mars," Eliana breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. It was a moment that would be etched in their memories forever, a moment that defined their humanity. Marco followed, his scientific mind racing with possibilities, while Priya stepped out, her engineer's mind already calculating the logistics of their mission. Lisa was last, taking a moment to absorb the gravity of the situation before joining her team on the Martian surface. The initial thrill of exploration soon gave way to the weight of isolation. They were thousands of miles from Earth, cut off from everything familiar. The psychological challenges began to surface. Marco, usually so confident, seemed restless, pacing as he scanned the horizon. "What if we're not ready for this? What if we can't handle the isolation?" His voice trembled slightly, betraying the cracks in his bravado. Priya placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We've prepared for this. We're not alone. We have each other." Her words were meant to comfort, but even she felt the creeping anxiety. The reality of their situation was sinking in. They were pioneers, yes, but they were also vulnerable humans, grappling with fears that had been buried beneath layers of training and preparation. As the sun began to set, casting an ethereal glow over the Martian landscape, the crew gathered in a circle. They shared their thoughts, their fears, and their hopes. It was a cathartic moment, a reminder that they were not just astronauts. They were friends, united in their journey. They laughed, cried, and shared stories of home, each word bridging the vast distance between Earth and Mars. In that moment, as they stood together on the surface of an alien world, they realized that the greatest challenge of their mission was not just the exploration of Mars, but the exploration of their own humanity. They were not merely scientists and engineers, they were individuals, each with their own emotional landscapes to navigate. And as they looked up at the stars, they understood that they were part of something greater, a testament to human resilience and the indomitable spirit of exploration.